The name of the book that I'm going to read you today is called Bartholomew and the Oobleck. This is a novel by Dr. Seuss. So let's see here. Let's get started. They still talk about it in the kingdom of Did. As the year, the king got angry with the sky. And they still talk about the page boy, Bartholomew Cubbins. If it hadn't been for Bartholomew, that king and that sky would have wrecked their little kingdom. All autumn, when the fog came down, he growled at that. And that winter, when the snow came down, he started shouting, "This snow, this fog, this sunshine, this rain, bah! These four things that come from the sky." But King Derwin Bartholomew tried to calm him. "You've always had those same four things come down." "That's just the trouble," bellowed the king. "Every year the same four things. I'm mighty tired of those four things. I want something new to come down." "Something new?" Bartholomew gasped. "That's impossible, Your Majesty. You just can't have it." "Boy, don't you dare tell me what I can and cannot have. Remember, Bartholomew, I am the king." "I know, sire," said Bartholomew, "but even kings can't rule the sky." Let's see. "You can't, huh?" His Majesty flew into a terrible rage. "Well, maybe other kings can't do it, but maybe I'm the one king who can. You mark my words, Bartholomew Cubbins, I will have something new come down." But how to get something new to come down? That was rather hard to think up. And many, many days the king stomped around trying to figure out some way to do it. Then finally, one night, when all the lords and ladies in the palace were fast asleep, just as the king was buttoning his royal nightshirt, he suddenly stopped. A strange, wild light began to shine in his gray-green eyes. "Why, of course," he began laughing. "They can do it for me. Bartholomew Cubbins, blow my secret whistle, quick! Call my royal magicians." "Oh, your magicians? Your Majesty," Bartholomew shivered. "Oh no, Your Majesty, don't tell them." "Hold your tongue, Bartholomew Cubbins. You do as I command you. Blow my secret whistle." "Yes, sir," Bartholomew bowed. "But Your Majesty, I still think that you will be very, very sorry." He took the king's secret whistle from its secret hook. He blew a long, low blast down the king's back secret stairway. And a moment later, he heard them coming, up from their musty hole beneath the dungeon, up the empty midnight tunnel to the royal bedchamber tower came the magicians on their padded, shuffling feet. Up and right into the room they came, chanting, "Shuffle, duffle, muscle, muff, fiesta, wista, mista, cuff. We are men of groans and bows, mystic men who eat boiled owls. Tell us what you wish, O king. Our magic can do anything." "I wish," spoke the king, "to have you make something fall from my skies that no other kingdom has ever had before." "What can you do? What will you make?" For a moment, they stood thinking, blinking their crinkly eyes. Then they spoke a word, one word. Oobleck. Oobleck? Asked the king. What will it look like? Won't look like rain, won't look like snow, won't look like fog, that's all we know. We can't just tell you anymore. We've never made Oobleck before. They bowed and they started toward the door. We must go now to our secret cave on Mystic Mountain, Nikatav. There all night long we'll work for you, and you'll have Oobleck when we're through. They'll do something crazy, whispered Bartholomew. Call them back, Your Majesty. Stop them. Stop them? Not for a ton of diamonds, chuckled the king. Why, I'll be the mightiest man that ever lived. Just think of it, tomorrow I am going to have Oobleck. Took a long time to get the excited king to sleep that night. But there was no sleep for Bartholomew, the page boy. All night long he stood in the king's window, staring out at the magic mountain Nikatav. Somewhere up there, Bartholomew knew the magicians were working their magic. All night long the magicians did. All night long they walked circles around their magic fire, making magic, mumbling with their clucking tongues. Oh, snow and rain are not enough. Oh, we must make some brand new stuff. So feed the fire with wet mouse hair, burn an onion, burn a chair, burn a whisker from your chin, and burn a long, sour lizard skin. Burn yellow twigs and burn red rust, and burn a stocking full of dust. Make magic smoke green, thick and hot. Phew, it sure smells dreadful, does it not? That means the smoke is now just right. So quick, before the day gets light, go, magic smoke, go high, go rise into the kingdom's high sky. Go make the Oobleck tumble down on every street in every town. Go make the wondrous Oobleck fall. Oh, bring it down, Oobleck, once and for all. Here we go. Dawn was just breaking and Bartholomew was still standing, trembling, watching at the bedchamber window. But now, as the sun rose, Bartholomew smiled. Those silly magicians had not done a thing. Then suddenly he stopped smiling. Was he seeing things? No, there was something strange up there in the sky. At first it seemed like a little greenish cloud, just a wisp of greenish steam. But now it was coming lower, closer, down toward the fields and the farms and the houses of this sleeping little kingdom. It was swirling around the topmost turrets of the palace. Tiny little greenish specks were shimmering in the air right over his head. Queer little greenish blobs, just about the size of grape seeds. He stretched out his hand. He started to catch one. Then he pulled his hand back. There was something frightening about those blobs. Bartholomew slammed the window shut. "Wake up, Your Majesty," he shouted. Your Oobleck, it's starting to fall." The king sprang from his royal bed sheets. "By my royal whiskers, it is," he cried. "Oh, that beautiful Oobleck, and it's all mine." "I don't like the looks of those blobs, sire," said Bartholomew. "They're coming down now as big as greenish peanuts." The bigger the better, laughed the king. Oh, what a day! I'm going to make it a holiday. I want every man, woman, and child in my kingdom to go out and dance in my glorious Oobleck. Out of that stuff? Asked Bartholomew. Do you really think it's safe, sire? Stop asking foolish questions, snapped the king. Boy, you run to my royal bell tower. Wake my royal bell ringer. Tell him to ring the great holiday bell. For a moment, Bartholomew didn't move. Run, the king said, run. Well, across the sleeping palace, Bartholomew ran. Then up the ladder of the high bell tower. He climbed to the bell ringer's little cubbyhole in the belfry. Ring your bell, he called. His Majesty the King proclaims today a holiday. The old man crawled out of his cot. He grabbed the bell rope. He says, what's this holiday for, Bartholomew? You'll find out soon enough, said Bartholomew. The bell ringer yanked the rope. Nothing happened. He yanked it harder. Still nothing. What's wrong with my bell? He murmured. I better take a look outside. And he poked his head right out of that trap door to see. Oh. Merciful gracious, he skulked. What is that? All over my bell like greenish molasses. Not only your bell, Bartholomew cried. Look at that poor robin down there in the tree. She's stuck to her nest. She can't move a wing. That Oobleck's gooey. It's gummy. It's like glue. Oh, the bell ringer wrung his hands. Is that green stuff sticks up robins? Will it stick up people too? Someone has got to warn the people, cried Bartholomew. Got to wake them up and warn them to stay inside their houses. I'll tell the royal trumpeter, he shouted. He turned and slid like lightning down that bell tower rope. To the trumpeter's tower raced Bartholomew Cubbins, and up those steps 4 at a time. As he ran, he could hear the plop, plop of the Oobleck on the window panes. It was pelting against the palace walls, as big as greenish cupcakes now. He yanked the covers off the snoring trumpeter. He shoved his cold trumpet right into his sleepy hands. Get up! Warn the people! Blow the alarm! Oh! Alarm! Yawned the trumpeter. Then his eyes saw the Oobleck. Those green things, Bartholomew, where'd they come from? The king, panted Bartholomew. His royal majesty made them. The royal trumpeter jumped up from his bed. That king of ours should be ashamed. He jabbed his trumpet out of the window. I'll blow the loudest alarm that it's ever been heard in the kingdom of Did. But there was no sound that came from the trumpet. Bartholomew raced down to the floor. He would have to tell the people. He raced out the door and then he stopped. He could go no further. The awful Oobleck was plumping down as big as greenish footballs now. Too late to warn the people of the kingdom. There were farmers in the fields getting stuck to their hoes and plows. Goats were getting stuck to ducks. Geese were getting stuck to cows. Outside the palace it was piling up. Great greenish tons of Oobleck, deeper and deeper on every roof in the land. Oh, there was nothing Bartholomew Cubbins could do out there. Shaking his head, he stepped back inside. My goodness. But inside, a moment later, it was just as bad as it was outside. With an angry roar, the Oobleck was suddenly hitting the palace harder. It was battering and spattering against the walls as big as greenish buckets full of gooey asparagus soup. Like a sinking sailboat, the whole palace was springing leaks. The Oobleck was ripping the windows right off their hinges. It was dripping through the ceilings. It was rolling down the chimneys. It was coming in everywhere, even through the keyholes. From every bedroom in the palace came the howls of lords and ladies. Frightened in their nightgowns, they came jumping to their doors. Go back to your beds. Get under your blankets. Bartholomew Cubbins went crying through the halls, but nobody paid the slightest attention. Everyone in the palace just started rushing around madly. The royal cook rushed down to the royal kitchen. Bartholomew Cubbins saw him trapped there, stuck to 3 stew pots, a teacup, and a cat. The royal laundress rushed outside to save her laundry. Bartholomew saw her stuck tight to the clothesline between 2 woolen stockings and the king's best Sunday blouse. He saw the royal fiddlers. They were stuck to the royal fiddles. Everywhere Bartholomew ran, he saw something stuck to someone. They were stuck up by the dozens. Every last friend he had in the world was flopping and floundering, all hopelessly caught in the goo. Then suddenly, amidst the hubbub, Bartholomew gasped. The king! Where was the king? He had forgotten all about the king. It was in the throne room that Bartholomew found him. There he sat. Old King Derwin, proud and mighty ruler of the kingdom of Did, trembling, shaking, helpless as a baby. His royal crown was stuck to his royal head. The seat of his royal pants were stuck to his royal throne. Oobleck was dripping from his royal eyebrows. It was oozing into his royal ears. Fetch my magicians, Bartholomew, he commanded. Make them say some magic words. Make them stop the Oobleck falling. Bartholomew shrugged his shoulders. I can't fetch them, Your Majesty. Their cave on Mount Nicatav is buried deep in Oobleck. Then I must think of some magic words, groaned the king. Oh, what? What are those magic words my magicians say? Shuffle, duffle, muzzle, muff. That's all I can remember, and they don't do any good. The Oobleck is still falling harder and harder. What are we going to do? Bartholomew Cubbins could not hold his tongue any longer. And it's going to keep on falling, he shouted, until your whole great marble palace tumbles down. So don't waste your time saying magic, foolish words. You ought to be saying some plain, simple words. Simple words? What do you mean, boy? I mean, said Bartholomew, that it's all your fault. Now the least you can do is say the simple words, I'm sorry. No one had ever talked to the king like that before. What? He bellowed. Me, say I'm sorry? Kings never say I'm sorry, and I am the mightiest king in the whole world. Bartholomew looked at the king square in the eye. You may be a mighty king, he said, but you're sitting in Oobleck up to your chin, and so is everyone else in your land. And you won't even say you're sorry. You're no sort of a king at all. Bartholomew Cubbins turned his back. He started for the throne room door. But then Bartholomew heard a great big sob. The old king was crying. Come back, Bartholomew Cubbins. You're right. It's all my fault, and I am so sorry. Oh, Bartholomew, I'm awfully, awfully sorry. And the moment that the king said those words, something happened. Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, I'm sorry. Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, it's all my fault. Maybe there was, and maybe there wasn't. But they say that as soon as the old king spoke them, the sun began to shine and fight its way back through the storm. They say that the falling Oobleck blobs grew smaller and smaller and smaller. They say that all the Oobleck that was stuck on all the people and on all the animals of the kingdom of did just simply melt away. And then, they say, Bartholomew took the king by his sleeve and led him up to the steps of the high bell tower. He put the rope bell into His Majesty's royal hands, and the king himself rang the holiday bell. Then the king proclaimed a brand new national holiday in honor of the 4 perfect things that come down from the sky. The king now knew that these 4 old-fashioned things, the rain, the sunshine, the fog, and the snow, were good enough for any king in all the world, especially him, old King Derwin of Did.